Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning homework session for Monday, March the 17th, 2014. For those that are unfamiliar with us, we are Quantum Leap. We are a self-organized learning environment. We have a private Skype room that's been around for over 4 years. We get together, talk about the market, talk about trading, and then each morning prior to the market opening, we come into this live go-to. And we go through our analysis, get ready for trading. We do go through a routine that starts with the macro to micro, so if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you might want to skip ahead until we get into some more in-depth chart analysis. If you're interested in finding out more about us, we're not a commercial venture, we are a private venture. You can give me an email at d.mckay@stealthtrader.com. So we're going to get going, but I got to get the disclaimers out of the way. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand their knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument involves risk loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than their initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please do your own due diligence and trade your own trade plan. All right, we are currently trading at, let me just check, 1841.75. So let's go through the numbers. Again, 1837.75, our year open. That is the March contract. I realize that, but it is a number that we still watch because it was the year open at 1837.75. We have the all-time high up at 1887.50. Again, March contract, but we watch it on a macro level because it has a tendency to get taken out and equalized with the current month contract. Month opened 1846. We have a month high at 1887.50, and we have a month low, which was just put in overnight. So this is going to be changed right here, and we put a new low in at 1823.50. Nothing really jumps out other than that, so let's go right over to the intraday Friday session. It opened up on the Globex at 1840, had a high at 44 and a low at 32.25, and we opened the RTH session at 36.25. We had an open drive. They just opened up and they took it up and went and tested that 47 area that we were looking at. Didn't quite get there. Got to, I think it was 46 and a quarter. We only broke the IB to one side, so we had a normal variation. Opening swing 4 and a quarter. High 36 low for a 4 and a quarter opening swing. So this was giving us mixed information because we had an open drive, we opened auction in range, and then we had a wide opening swing. So two of the clues that the market was giving us is we were going to get a rotational day, but you always have to be careful when you get these open drives. The biggest clue, though, was the initial balance. We had a high of 46 and a quarter and a low of 36 for a 10 and a quarter. Usually when you get a wider than 9 opening swing, opening initial balance, it will tend to lead to a rotational day. Our numbers continue to get weaker. We have weakness coming into the markets. You can see we're trending down on all our intraday numbers. We have 1230 number, lower 39 and a quarter, lower high at 46 and a quarter, lower low at 32, and the RTH closed lower at 32.75, and our VPOC was 1840.50. Did it not shift at the end of the day? I thought it shifted. Let me just go check. Just want to check that for a second. No, it never did shift. Okay. And I left early Friday afternoon, so that's why I just wanted to check because I wasn't here trading it. And then just nothing else really jumps out. Our 20-day ATR is just running under 15 for the RTH, just over 17.5 on the full session, and just under 10 on the Globex. Value area high was lower at 35.50. Value area low was lower at 44. So we're accepting value lower, and we had an IB break to the low side at trend 12, so a little bit later than usual. And again, we had higher than normal volume. Let's go take a quick look at the COT report. Commitment of Trader report was put out on Friday. And again, you've got your zero line right here for whether or not you're net positive or net negative. You can see that the large spec, which had started to get net positive last week, but I said they're just taking advantage of the rotation up, that this week would give us a clearer indication, and you can see they've got net negative again. And again, the small spec is gotten more net positive and is chasing this high, and you can see commercial paper is majorly net short. So to me, this is still setting up for a blow-off top, and we could get one more kick at the can to go and equalize those highs, but the larger players within the market are getting net negative, and that's usually an indication that we're getting close to a turn and a retracement. Going over to the daily report, our full session high so far in the Globex 1845.75, full session low 1823.50. Funny how these numbers, even though they're in the June contract, are starting to come into play, because if you remember, 1823.75 was the number that we were keeping our eye on a couple weeks ago in the June contract. It was a key CLVN. And then the 1845.75 is right near that 1846, 1847 level. So our 20-day ATR targets to the upside, 1841.04. We're currently trading near it right now. So we're trading at the full session ranged extension, and then our ATR low is 1828.21, and that's another number that we are watching, that CLVN 1828.25 from the March contract as well. So let's jump right over, take a look at the macro to the micro in terms of the trend. You can see that the monthly is still trending up very strong. Sorry, I forgot to check one thing. Got to take a look at the news today. I don't think there's any major scheduled news. Yeah, nothing really major. We've got, we had Empire State. We've got long-term purchases, industrial production, capacity utilization, and housing, but those are not ones that are going to tend to give us a big move in the marketplace. And they're going to happen prior to the RTH open, except for the housing market, which will happen the half hour in. So let's see what happens while we're doing our homework when these three hit here. But going over to the trend, trend's very much intact still on the monthly. Good slope and separation. You've got the 9 EMA. We're trading above the 9, and the 20 SMA. Trend is very much intact on the monthly. The weekly is kind of stalling out right now. We're losing slope. We still have separation, but we're kind of coming up. Possible head and shoulders developing on the weekly, but we're holding the 9 EMA so far, but we are consolidating sideways, so the trend is weakening on the monthly. On the daily, we've rolled over. We've closed below the 9 and the 20. We've got a MA hug going on here. This is usually a decision point at 1853, call it. We are trading below the 9 and the 20, created a little bit of a tech gap right now, and an MA hug, so we could come up and close this on the daily. Not necessarily today. There's a key level above that I want to watch in terms of whether or not we test it. But that 1853, if you remember from last week, is it was a key line in the sand that we are watching to break below. Now it is a key line in the sand above us. So support turns into resistance. Perfect example of that. Let's jump over to the geometric chart. We came down and hit this energy point right on the money. It was a beautiful move to test this energy point between the intermediate fork and the long-term fork. We're currently we broke below it, went down and hit that 23 and a quarter. Found some buyers, and currently right now we're trying to get back up into the longer term fork. This is the lower line of the longer term fork that we've been watching for almost half a year now, and we're trying to get back inside of that. The new intermediate fork that I added in at the beginning of last week, we broke below the center line of it, this one right here. I would look for a test up to test the upper line again, and that's going to take us up into that, testing that 1853 area, possibly up to 1855. We have this energy point down here, but that's not due until the 21st, but it's all the way down into that 1887 area. More specifically that 1781 area and its adjustment down, and we'll take a look at that when we get to the composite chart. But really, not much to go on right now. Obviously, we get back inside of the longer term fork, I'd be looking for the move up to test the center line of the more intermediate fork. And I know it's kind of convoluted in here right now, but we are rejecting the opposing downward sloping fork, and we've worked off the top there, and that comes into play testing the center line of the downward sloping fork, this one right here, with this energy point. So not really giving us much to trade off today, but just still giving us a general indication that the more immediate energy point is down here lower, coming up in around the 21st. So let's take a look at the big picture on the composite chart. We talked about this 1852 area. It was actually 1852.75, I believe, beginning or end of last week. And then Friday we broke below it. Thursday we broke below it. Came all the way down to the microcomposite VPOC, found buyers and held. And our main hypothesis for Friday was that we would come up and test this 52, possibly chop around between 47 and 33, but if we got below 39, that we'd probably come down and test this level. I was really looking for us to see a little bit more weakness and chop around in this area between these three distribution points around the 34.75, the 29.50, and the 25 and a quarter, and try to mature the auction down here. But we sort of chopped around in the middle here with the move up, close to that 47.75. The 43 area is still an area that I'll be watching today. This is the value area high of the overall microcomposite that ran from February the 14th through to March the 3rd. And we're back in that value area. The value area low is down here at 26. We still have these three distribution points. If we get below this 39, I'd be looking for a move back down to 34 with a push through to test the 33 and then come down here. We put in an overnight low down at 23.50, which is the other side of balance down here, and the CLVN, and I imagine we're going to come back down and test that if we break 39. If we hold 39, then I think we see some chop with an upward rotation to try to break outside of value at 43.50, come up and test the 47.75. That will take out the overnight high at 45 and a quarter, and possibly push through to test that 52.25. I'm not expecting much more than that, but if we do get above 52 and a quarter, look for rotation back up into that 58, 59 area, and come up to test the upper balance up here. The value area low there is 61.75, which is just below the CLVN, and the other side of balance around that 58 and 59 area. But again, my main hypothesis is to see some continuation and weakness and probably chop around. We could get stuck in this wick, today as we chop around. This 41 is becoming important. Remember that the 41.75 was where they accepted value when just before they broke out. It was the most accepted value just before they broke out and went up and made the new high. They're now coming and trading around it. We're seeing some distribution and a maturing of this CHVN here at 40.75. So we could shop around in this area and get stuck in this wick today with an upward bias up to test the 52, 53 level. But if we break 39, look for rotation back into this distribution area here with a push down to the other side of balance at 21.75. But I would expect us just to play ping pong between these three distribution points. So let's take a quick look at where we were overnight. Move our overnight numbers over. Currently trading 41.75. Our overnight high is 45.75. So just below the range high from Friday at 46.25. Our overnight low 23.50. And our overnight VPOC is net positive, so the inventory overnight was net positive, 42.75. And we can get rid of this now and start looking at where would be the area that you'd want to trade from. Obviously, the midpoint right here at 39.25 is right there at that CLVN at 39. This will be an area that I'll be looking to trade. But the fact that we're trading in this upper distribution around the VPOC from Friday, and the fact that we've got our overnight high up here at 45.75 versus our overnight low at 23.50, 96% probability of taking out the overnight high, overnight low. We're trading much closer to the overnight high, and we're holding with a net positive inventory overnight. Likely get a push up and try to take out that overnight high. We have this our value area high at 44, so this is going to be an area that I'll be trading off of right here at 44. I'll be looking for responsive sellers to step in here. Come on. I'd be looking for responsive sellers to step in here and hold us inside of value. I'm expecting a choppy open because of this fact that we're trading inside of this wick in around this 41. So I will either wait for a rejection, a strong rejection off of 44 and take the short into the 40 and the test of that 39 area, or I'll wait for them to come down, find some responsive buyers down here at 39, hold strong, and take us for a ride up to take out the overnight high up here at 45.75 and back up into this 47.75 and move to test the other side of that balance up here at 53. So my first main target above is going to be this 46.25, and my secondary target and where I'd be looking for responsive sellers to step in is going to be at this 52.75 here. Looking for them to hold us down below this 52.25 CLVN. Actually, it's 52.25, not 52.75. Sorry. But if we get above the 52.75, I'm looking for a rotation back up towards the 64.50, which is the microcomposite VPOC. In around this distribution point up here when we made the new high. So the target above, my extended target above, is up there at 64.25 or 64.50. Sorry. Need to do that. I'll go and change that to my extended target. And there's really not much resistance that I see anywhere. The only place that I'd see some resistance is right here at 62.25. I'm not marking it down because I don't think it's going to hold much resistance once we get back here so close to that 64.50. So looking at possibilities of rotation lower, 39, below 39, look for them to test the value area low from Friday, and that 36. 36 was a key level for us, in the March contract, and it is our value area low, so that will be a trade area for me looking for responsive buyers. But if we break that, then I'm looking for us to come down and take out this naked close at 32.75 and test the other side of balance around 34. But 34.50 is going to be my first target below 36. And that was that range low from Thursday. And then with the push through to the other side of balance and that 33 area, which is going to take us for a breakout of the Friday range low. 33, it's really going to be 32, so I'll put it at, it's really 32 to 33, but it's taking out the overnight, the Friday naked close and testing the range low. Below that, and I'm going to move it just up slightly because it's really right there. Between 33 and 32, but it's, don't look for them to step in right at 33 because you've got the naked close at 32.75, and they'll try to probably try to break out of this range low at 32. And then the targets below, pretty clear, 29.50. Come on. Why that button is giving me so much trouble lately. There we go. And the 25.25. And our extended target will be the 23.50 with the other side of balance being down here at 21.25. And then extended targets to the low side is that 18.50. And these aren't really going to come into play today unless we get some major weakness, which I don't think we're going to get. So we're already trading above the 39 and holding and coming up and testing this this value area high. So I would look for a break above the value area to take out this overnight high. If we break above the 40, this 44, get long into the overnight high with a possible push up to this these upper targets of 52, and you might get some resistance here at 59.50, but I think if we get up there and get back into this balance area up here, they're going to go for the 64. So that's why I'm not going to try to do anything up here because I really think it's to the long side, and I'll be running long by that time. So that's what I'm looking at. Howard, do you have anything for us this morning?
Yeah, I can cover a couple things.
Over to you. In the meantime, I'll fix my extended targets up and start posting the charts.
Okay, so to start with, I'm
muted. Unmuted.
Sorry, Howard, I mistakenly muted you and not myself.
Okay. Was it something I said? Okay, so looking at the weekly chart, coming back to the week of February 3rd, we see that we made an attempted break below the 20 SMA, pretty significant probe below, but we ended the week strong, ended up forming a hammer that closed above the 20 SMA, so we did not have any closes below it. And then we had very good strength to come up to our all-time high at 1887.50. And then last week we had weakness come in that took us right down to the weekly 20 SMA. Overnight we opened up weaker and made an attempted probe below it and towards the 20 SMA, but strength came back in overnight, actually gave us a pretty wide range of about 23 points or so, and currently we are staying above the 9 EMA on the weekly. Looking at the daily, so here's our high at 1887.50, and we formed a pretty wide doji. And then since then, weakness has come into the market. We tested the 20 SMA, tried to hold as support, but then broke through support on the 13th and actually closed below both the 9 and the 20. And then had further weakness come in, and overnight when we opened up, we went down probably 8 or 9 points or so, actually tested this 50 SMA, and since then it rejected strongly, and we've been rallying overnight since the early portions of the Globex. So these weekly and daily moving averages have been very significant support and resistance levels recently. So now let's go take a look at some market breadth. Okay, so looking at our advanced decline in this chart here, up volume versus down volume in this chart here, and then on balance volume in the lower chart, and we have price in the top chart here. So through Friday, and actually on Thursday, on a 10-day average basis, our advanced declines actually broke below the break-even point, so there are now more net decliners than advancers. And as we've been pointing out in past homework sessions, we peaked on these two indicators, between the 18th and 20th of February, and then, the market breadth began to weaken from that point. Even though price continued to rise, the rise was based on weaker, well, I should say fewer and fewer stocks, and then eventually, after hitting our high, we've started to retrace a bit. So both advanced declines and up-down volume are now below the break-even point. On-balance volume, on the other hand, continued up with price, pretty much matching it to the day, and I believe our all-time high was hit in the Globex, if I remember properly. And then as price has weakened, on-balance volume has also started to tail off a little bit, but is still in sync with price. So we're seeing more weakness in terms of advanced declines and up volume versus down volume, but on-balance volume has actually been consistent with price. So a little bit of a mixed read on that. Next, we'll be looking at our sectors. And with one exception, all the sectors have been moving in the same direction as price. The one exception has been utilities. Early utilities is the white line here. For much of the early part of the year, utilities had been the leading sector, and then was overtaken by this red line, which is healthcare. And then as healthcare turned lower with price, utilities actually got stronger. So utilities has reassumed the lead in terms of sectors. It's up just under 8% on the year. Retail has made an effort to climb back in with the pack. They're still trailing, but not much below the next lower sector. So where they had been significantly weaker than the other sectors, they've basically come back to the pack. Doug already covered the CO2 report, so with that, that's all I've got, Doug. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Howard. Well, they're not even waiting for the open. Let me just bring my screen back up here. We're in danger right now of going and making a new overnight high before the RTH open. So we are trading just right at that 44.25. Just wanted to show you what that looks like on the Renko with Keltner. A test of the upper Keltner channel right now will take us up into that 47 area, which is at 47.75. And I'm going to put this in as an immediate target above us right here at 47.75 because it's likely to get tagged either before the open and make a new high with another 13 minutes to go. But I think that this overnight high is toast right now. Whether we make a new high before we get to the RTH open or whether we tag it and pop to 47. 47 is going to be where I'm looking for the first, responsive sellers to step in here. Now, we do have a possibility that this could come up and get what we call a Keltner walk the line trade setup. And if we close above the upper Keltner, look for a possible Renko reversal bar, and then if we attack the upper Keltner line, look for that walk the line setup that you guys are familiar with up to this 53 area. Yeah?
Hey, we're not seeing your screen.
Oh, you're not seeing my screen? What are you seeing?
I'm seeing it, Mike.
You're seeing it? Oh.
Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, now I am.
Okay, are you or aren't you? Okay, so what I'm saying is we're now trading above this 44, and we still have 12 minutes going into the RTH open. So they're likely to go up and take out this 45.75 before the open and test the range for the Friday high in RTH. If that happens, then we're going to possibly get an open auction out of range, and this will set us up for a Renko walk the line up to 53. So we got to watch this right here, and really 47 is where I'm putting a intermediate target in, because if we get up here, this is where we might see responsive sellers stepping in. But if we close above, okay, we could get a walk the line up to 53, and this is kind of setting up for that type of move. I just we got what now 9 minutes to wait. Seeing a little bit of weakness, I'm going to just stay on the line here. Let's go ahead and close out the session, and I'll just we'll stay open on the go-to. So this is going to conclude the pre-market session for March 17, 2014. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.